Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah Kodash, Barakatum. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who ruled and teach well, and peace and salutations to Ya'akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. This is the brother Ra'aya with another video, and I'll be reading from an article on the economiccollapseblog.com titled, "The Underground Bunker Business is Booming as Global Events Spiral Out of Control." This is a really good time to be selling underground bunkers. The COVID-19 pandemic, civil unrest in major U.S. cities, and concern about what else may be coming have combined to create a tremendous amount of demand for survival real estate. In all my years of writing, I have never seen anything like this. And that's because we're living in the last seconds of these last days before the second coming of Yahushua HaMashiach, whom the world ignorantly refers to as so-called Jesus Christ, who's returning to save the elect of his people and his people only, the true children of Israel, who are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, as well as the Israelite foreigners who look like these heathens, and to put the final nail in the coffin of the rulership of the heathen nations, chiefly Esau Edom, the so-called white man. I have been hearing from so many people that suddenly feel a great urgency to prepare for the total collapse of society, and quite a few of them have either recently relocated or plan to do so in the near future. For some, moving entirely out of the country seems like the best option, but for most others, the goal is to find a way to survive the coming chaos here in the United States. And this is just more biblical prophecy taking place right before your eyes. In the scriptures, it says that people would seek shelter when Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai would begin to visit this world with calamities for all the wickedness that's being committed on it. This is Isaiah chapter 2, verse 19. "And they shall go into the holes of the rocks and into the caves of the earth," underground bunkers, deep mountain bases, survival real estate, etc., etc., "for the fear of Yahweh and for the glory of his majesty, when he ariseth to shake terribly the earth, to punish you people on the earth for all the wickedness you've been committing, chiefly you Edomites, who have turned this planet upside down and who have turned most of it into a giant dumpster ever since you came into this little season of your final rulership beginning with the Renaissance, and also because you've afflicted the apple of the Most High's eye, the children of Israel, and 2/3 of you wicked Israelites who are hard-headed and refuse to return under your power, Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. You want to be everything else under the sun, black, African-American, Egyptian, African, Hispanic, Latino, Mexican, Christian, Catholic, Buddhist, Muslim, atheist, American, etc., etc., but who you truly are, the children of Israel. And while a lot of these lower level people buying these bug out locations and leaving the country don't see the full picture, they're just taking things at face value. All they see is a coronavirus pandemic, riots and protests going on all across the country, destroying cities, natural disasters, the U.S. economy and the global economies on the verge of collapse, wars and rumors of wars, you name it. You elites that run the planet, you Rothschilds, you Rockefellers, you DuPonts, the Gettys, the Merovingians, etc., etc., know exactly what it's hitting for. You understand the scriptures like the elect and know that it's all the will of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai that these things are taking place. You see these end times prophecies coming to their fulfillment. You see the nation of Israel waking up and coming back to their power. And you see the men of the Lord, the prophets of the Most High, chiefly through GMS or Great Millstone, going out there on the highways and byways pushing this word, as well as putting up video epistles like this, condemning your ass. So that's why you're rushing to fully implement your New World Order, as well as preparing to go into your underground bunkers, your mountain bases, your low orbit space stations, your undersea bases, etc., etc., so you can try to escape the coming calamities. And you elites are so proud and delusional that you think that when the dust settles, you're going to be able to come back to the surface and rule in your new world order. Well, you're sadly mistaken. The reason a lot of you are going to survive all these coming calamities in your hideouts is because you're going to be the first fruits of slavery in the kingdom of heaven. Let's get back to that article. Of course, a lot of people are still tied to major population centers by their jobs, and for a lot of those individuals, a survival bunker in a remote location that they can bug out to if things get crazy enough is an attractive option. In South Dakota, one company has established the largest survival community on Earth, and the New York Post recently interviewed a 69-year-old man named Tom Soulsby that purchased one of the very first underground bunkers in that community. Tom Soulsby, 69, and his wife Mary were one of the first to buy a bunker at Vivos X Point, the self-proclaimed largest survival community on Earth, near the South Dakota town of Edgemont. In 2017, he made a $25,000 down payment and signed a 99-year land lease with fees of $1,000 per year to occupy an elliptical-shaped 2,200 square foot underground concrete bunker once used as a military fortress during World War II to store weapons and ammunition. For a while there, sales were not happening too briskly, but then 2020 happened, which has been deemed the year of prophecy by Apostle Tahar, and at this point, sales of underground bunkers at Vivos X Point are up over 600%. When Soulsby signed on the dotted line, he was one of a handful of new owners, but in 2020, Vivos X Point has become hotly sought after real estate. The price has jumped to $35,000, says Robert Vecino, the California developer and CEO of the Vivos Group, which launched in 2008, and sales are up over 600%. I really admire what they are trying to do, and I am sure that having major news stories done about your community helps sales, but it will also make the community a target when things really do hit the fan, and that's exactly what's going to happen. A lot of you are going to die before you even make it to your bug out locations, and in most cases, all this prep work you've been doing and all these locations you've been setting up are just going to be sustenance for the elect during Jacob's trouble. So thank you to you preppers for contributing to the elect of the nation of Israel surviving through Jacob's trouble. And really, on top of all that, if you're not an elect Israelite in America during Jacob's trouble, you're doomed anyway, because nuclear missiles are going to hit this place and turn it into the biblical lake of fire from sea to shining sea, and then a desolate, uninhabitable wasteland afterwards. Another project that has been making a lot of headlines is the Survival Condo in central Kansas. It is completely underground, and it was originally designed to survive a nuclear war, which is quickly coming. As it says in Revelation chapter 9, verse 12, "Behold, one woe or destruction is past, World War I, and two woes more come hereafter, World War II, and this upcoming World War III, which will be nuclear." The Survival Condo has a lot of the hallmarks of your standard fallout shelter. It's underground, 200 feet underground, in the middle of rural Kansas, 200 miles from Kansas City. It was built during the Cold War as a nuclear missile launch facility. It's also been retrofitted with 9-foot thick reinforced concrete walls designed to survive everything from tornadoes to 12 kiloton nuclear warheads dropping half a mile away. This converted nuclear silo has been described as an underground skyscraper, and this is how author Bradley Garrett described his visit to Level 11. On Level 11 of the Survival Condo, about 50 meters underground, Hall and I visited an 1,800 square foot home. I've had the same feeling as walking into a bedroom in a hotel chain. The apartment has never been used. It has a Navajo print rug, a cushy white sofa set, and a stone electric fireplace with a flat panel TV over it. A marble countertop extends to a bar separating the living room from the kitchen, which is filled with high-end appliances. It sounds quite lovely, but the units are not cheap. In fact, prices start at more than $1 million. So to you two-thirds Israelites and you average Joe heathens out here, it's not looking pretty good for you. Half-floor apartments here are 1.5 million, full-floor apartments 3 million, and a two-level 3,600 square foot penthouse has sold for 4.5 million. In total, 57 people will be living in 12 apartments, each paying an additional $5,000 a month in residence association fees. One apartment bought with cash is designed to feel like a log cabin with a loft looking down on a fake fireplace flanked by a 6-screen display of a snow-capped mountain range. The company selling the units insists that the location is super secret, but if that is actually the case, it probably is not a good idea to let reporters roam around inside the facility with a film crew. In any event, only the ultra-wealthy will get to live there, because most Americans could never even dream of being able to afford such an elaborate bug-out location. But all of us should be doing what we can to get prepared for the hard years that are ahead, because things are about to get really, really crazy, and that's an understatement. We live in truly unprecedented times, and what we have experienced so far is just the beginning. As global events spiral out of control, many among the elite will be heading for their underground bunkers, and some are already there. As coronavirus infections tore across the U.S. in early March, a Silicon Valley executive called the survival shelter manufacturer Rising SCO. He wanted to know how to open the secret door to his multi-million-dollar bunker 11 feet underground in New Zealand. The tech chief had never used the bunker and couldn't remember how to unlock it, said Gary Lynch, general manager of Texas-based Rising South Company. He wanted to verify the combination for the door and was asking questions about the power in the hot water heater and whether he needed to take extra water or air filters, Lynch said. The businessman runs a company in the Bay Area but lives in New York, which was fast becoming the world's coronavirus epicenter. It sure must be nice to have a luxury underground bunker in New Zealand. Hey, these smarter higher-ups are getting their bug-out locations outside the U.S. for when all shit hits the fan. But at the end of the day, it's all futile, because if you manage to survive all these coming calamities, it only means that you, along with the top elites, are going to serve as the first fruits of slavery in the kingdom of heaven. And again, in America, if you're not an elect Israelite, when those missiles start flying, you were finished before it even started. And that's it with this article. Now let's get back into some precepts dealing with people trying to flee the coming calamities of Yahweh by Yishim Yahushai. This is Revelation chapter 6, I'm going to read verse 12 to 17. And I beheld when he had opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood, and the stars of heaven fell into the earth, even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind. And this is speaking about when those nuclear missiles are shot to the ends of the earth, 200 million alone hitting the United States of America, which is biblically known as Babylon the Great. And the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, referring to that mushroom cloud that forms after those nuclear warheads detonate, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places. And the kings of the earth, the top elites, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Gettys, the Merovingians, the DuPonts, and the great men, and the rich men, some of your political figures, like these presidents and prime ministers, some of these top business people, like your Bill Gateses, your Jeff Bezoses, Elon Musk, some celebrities, and the chief captains and the mighty men, these top figures in the military, and every bondman and every free man hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains, deep mountain bases, underground bunkers, and said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, the Father, Yahweh, and from the wrath of the Lamb, the Son, Yahushai. For the great day of his wrath has come, and who shall be able to stand? No one will be able to stand in the face of the great wrath and judgment of Yahweh by Hishim Yahushai. You're either going to get put to death on this side or be preserved, so those 144,000 hunters can come after you in your hiding places and slap those chains on you so you can serve as the first fruits of slavery in the kingdom of heaven. But now I'm going to close it out in Amos chapter 9, verse 1-3. I saw Yahweh standing upon the altar, and he said, smite the lintel of the door, that the posts may shake, and cut them in the head, all of them, and I will slay the last of them with the sword. He that fleeth of them shall not flee away, and he that escapeth of them shall not be delivered. You won't escape these elect hunters that'll be coming after you. Though they dig into hell, those underground bunkers, thence shall mine hand take them. Though they climb up to heaven, go into those low-orbit space stations, thence will I bring them down. And though they hide themselves in the top of Carmel, deep mountain bases, I will search and take them out thence. And though they be hid from my sight in the bottom of the sea, undersea bases and luxury submarines, thence will I command the serpent, and he shall bite them. Not only are the elect going to be coming after you, but Yahweh is going to send Leviathan to come after your ass as well. So with this video, I hope you sincere Akim were edified. Just keep strong and keep pushing this word. We're almost out of this final wicked captivity of the heathens, chiefly Esau, Edom. And as always, I'm going to say Abad Babal, Kwam Yasharallah, and until next time, Shalom.